Alright, hello everybody. So this is going to be Brics part 42 today. The following video is for research purposes. I'm going to go ahead and finish the World Economic Forum PDF that we've been going over and talk a little bit about what I see so far, what could be or what will go on, especially with the strangeness of the earth right now. Okay, so let's get into this. Alright, so we're on phase 3 guide. Okay, so I'm gonna read Okay, so the guide phase shifts are meant to steer the financial sector towards a successful transition. Okay, for organizations, this phase is about moving beyond preparation and clarification to actively shaping and guiding their transition strategies. It focuses on actively developing global industrial and regulatory best practices. Global guidelines can help to shape the transition into a post-quantum world, right here. Internationally aligned standards for quantum-safe protocols and encryption will ensure smooth and secure communication channels, which is crucial for stability of the global interconnected financial markets. Okay, so we got to address regulatory gaps. Hold on, I'm reading. So it's talking about what regulations will need to be addressed for quantum risk. National and international cybersecurity agencies should publish security guidance. Okay, and then regulators should leverage both soft regulatory approaches such as signaling through public speeches. Isn't that interesting? You know how they kind of complain about Bill Gates a little bit when he talked about the virus killing people, and then they have something right here. Signaling through public speeches. And where required, hard regulatory approaches such as formal regulatory activities. Okay, let's read now. Okay, regulators should not seek to reinvent the wheel, but consider new regulation only where essential. Okay. Enact standards. Let's see if this is important. Okay, this is interesting. Global technical standards and open source projects are a trigger point for the transition to quantum security, but concerned effort from industry stakeholders is required to translate standards into practical applications. Okay, technical standards such as those being developed by NIST or NIST will provide the foundation for quantum security, but industry should seek to understand and plan for their implementation across new and existing systems. What's this NIST, and what do they have to do with quantum security? Let me see if I can find this real fast. $15. Oh, here we go. NIST. I'm gonna check this out real fast. we might be going over it next time. Okay, yeah, we are going to go over this next time. Okay, so I'm reading. Okay, it's just mostly talking about making sure everybody has access to make this happen. Okay, transition and monitor, phase 4. This phase focuses on implementation and strategies developed during the preceding stages, while learning and adapting from the entire transition journey. The emphasis shifts to modernizing cryptographic management. This could be like a key new area if you're looking for like job opportunities right here, either management or understand more about cryptography. Ensuring the sector's reliance and readiness for quantum computing challenges. Organizations should enhance their cryptography practices now, as they did with vulnerability management before. Industry regulator collaborations can help establish coordinated transition roadmaps. Alright, I'm gonna be reading. Okay, the quantum-enabled cybersecurity risk has highlighted the pressing need for the financial sector to modernize its overall approach to cryptography and cryptographic management. To remain resilient and secure against potential future risks, it is essential to modernize approaches to cryptographic management, such as the deployment of post-quantum cryptography. Organizations should consider how to update their cryptographic management to align with the contemporary DevOps, seeking to repurpose and reuse existing practices, tools, and processes. Well, that doesn't seem very secure if you're just repurposing. Would that mean that the same backdoors exist? Hold on. Okay, I'm going down to or right here. Okay, the emergence of quantum computing demonstrates the increasingly dynamic nature of innovation across the financial sector. To remain effective, regulatory approaches should iterate to keep pace and continuously monitor developments. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this will help regulators maintain a forward-looking approach. Blah, blah, blah. For transitioning to quantum security, regulators could also consider the potential merits of incentivizing the transition in the event of a market failure, taking an approach mindful of resources and capabilities of smaller firms. Quantum computing shines light on the systemic risk created by our profound dependency on digital platforms without reliance by design. Okay, conclusion. Alright. All stakeholders must collaborate toward a cybersecurity financial sector in the quantum economy. In an era when the potential of quantum computing looms large, bringing with it immense opportunities and profound challenges, the financial sector must act with foresight and agility. By initiating early decisions between industry, technology providers, and regulatory authorities across the globe, this work program final report have highlighted intricate interplay between the industry and regulatory landscapes, highlighting the challenge that impede the sector's transition to post-quantum security. Okay, it talks about, it's just wrapping everything up for these guiding principles and phases in a quantum secure economy, blah, blah, blah. The post-quantum security is a challenge we can't solve individually. Thanks to the World Economic Forum, yeah, right, and the FCA for bringing together a broad range of stakeholders and setting a bold ambition to drive a quantum secure economy. Okay, as the financial sector embarks on this journey, it is imperative to remember that the transition to quantum security is not a destination, but an ongoing process of adaptation and evolution. This requires a multi-stakeholder approach across public and private sectors, including governments, regulators, international technical standards, industry players, and vendors. The financial sector must remain vigilant, adaptable, and united in its approach to harness the transformative power of quantum computing while mitigating its risk. Okay. Yep, and this is the era. We're into the Q era, or the quantum era, like I've been telling people all along. Alright, so... Oh, the FCA is the Financial Conductivity Authority. That just talks about how they arrived at their conclusions. Okay. So, okay, this especially brings up things for 2035. Now, I could be wrong on this, what I'm about to say, but this is just kind of maybe how I'm seeing things play out. I think at some point the United States is going to sell its Bitcoin reserve and collapse Bitcoin. But at the same time, they're going to reevaluate gold. Because gold, it's like, what, 2,000 something or more an ounce, 3,000, I don't know. Yeah, the last time I checked it was like 3,000 something an ounce. Well, the Federal Reserve has our gold priced at $42 an ounce. So if they reevaluate gold, that'll pay off some of the debt. And if they sell off the Bitcoin reserve and crash Bitcoin, that'll maybe pay off more of the debt, maybe all of it, I don't know, depending on how they reevaluate gold. Now, when they reevaluate gold, if they do it by like 3 times or 4 times, then who's ever holding gold, you're going to see that just triple or quadruple, or how far ever up it goes. So if they did that and sold the Bitcoin, that could probably almost eliminate our debt. Or it could, depending, like I said, how they play it. But if they reevaluate gold, there is a chance those that hold dollars would see inflation. And I think the dollar and the fiat system is going to kind of stay where it is until after World War III, because you don't want to go to war on a gold standard. That's just going to devalue gold. It's like you brought it up, you don't want to devalue it. So once World War III ends, which I think is around the time the global depression will end, which is 2035, that's when this whole quantum security thing should be solidified, and brought together, especially with quantum security and everything like that. And then I think we're going to make a transition from dollars to gold or digital gold. That's kind of the direction I'm seeing. I could be wrong though. The other thing is this global depression. It's coming. You can feel it pending. It's from 2026 to 2035. And I know the closer we get to it, the worse the natural disasters are going to be. Because that's how this played out when I was reading the 1998 documents. It was like all this chaos happening at once. Or at least it seemed that way when you read it. There's chance of power failures. Man, I believe at one point I was like, man, how do we survive this? Or how long is this out for? But I'm not for sure if, like, we're going to see an actual grid collapse, or if the power outages are just going to be kind of like how they have been, which are regional. I see both scenarios, but I also see, some natural disasters are just going to be bad, people. I mean, we've already had some bad ones. But it's going to keep going, and it has to do with whatever the Earth is doing right now. It could be moving towards an excursion, but it's not an excursion. Okay, so here's the way how I calculate things. So I've noticed a pattern in these whole excursion events. Like the last excursion, well, I wouldn't say it's the last, but let's take, for example, the one that happened about 41,000 years ago. Okay? So the poles actually did flip, but then they reversed back in a 500-year period. So the way how I'm seeing these things happen is when you first enter an age, and since we're on a fixed sign, this means it's a devastating one. In other words, a major seasonal transition. I don't perceive a flood, okay? Because we don't have the ice for that. The floods happen in the summer one, or the ones guided by Leo, which was like 12,000 years ago. We were in the age of Leo. Now, those are the ones that'll melt. And then I question whether those were regionals, because I don't think the ice melted all at once. I think there was ice patches that melted that affected things regionally, one at a time. Although I could be wrong about that too. Nonetheless, they were devastating 12,000 years ago. And I'm not saying this is going to be easy. It's just, I think there's a lot of misinformation going wrong about this, and it's creating too much fear. Okay, so I'm not even sure if an excursion is going to happen, but okay, so Aquarius began 500 years ago. So about 500 years after Aquarius, we started seeing significant the pole move. And so I would say that it's going to take about 500 years. I think it might reach Russia maybe in 100 years or two. Maybe sooner. But from there, it's going to take about 300 to 500 years to meet up with the South Pole. I don't, all I know is that the natural disasters and global depression kind of go hand in hand. And there could be a possibility that China's really making this shit worse. Because we've been hit hard, as if we've been targeted. So just things to keep in mind. But other than that, I'm gonna let you go. That's it for today. Oh, something else I wanted to say is that I'm going back to my old schedule now. So, I won't be doing a Brics video. I'll be doing whatever the other videos were before I decided to make a pause. And because I found some, like, new information that I needed to share fast, and I've shown most of that information, so now I'm gonna go back in a regular schedule. So the next time it won't be Brics. I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but I'm going back to that schedule, and I'll let you know as time goes. But other than that, y'all have a good one, okay? Alright, peace, bye. And this has been a Crazy Jester production. Brics Part 42. Wow. And I will see you next week with something new and different, because that's how the world goes. And when the world goes insane, it's something different every week. Alright, well, you know what? Peace out. I'm the Jester, and y'all have fun. Ha 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 ha.